Oh no, where did my gravity go? By Emmett Boutte. Emmett was sleeping on a seemingly ordinary morning in bed. Dreams of rainbow slides and marshmallow swimming pools were dancing in his head. It all seemed so usual except for one thing. He didn't know quite what this day would bring. When Emmett awoke, he started floating up out of the bed. Straight toward the ceiling he started to head. "Oh no, where did my gravity go?" he cried. He rubbed and couldn't believe his eyes, but he just kept on drifting up oh so high. He rolled and he swam and he spun right around, but nothing would get him to go back on down. He finally sighed and said, "What's the use?" His gravity was gone and he had no excuse. Luckily, just then his mom came on in. "Oh, Emmett, what happened?" she said to him. "My gravity's gone and I'm floating away." "Well, don't worry, child. I will save the day. This happened to me once when I was a child. It's gone for a bit and comes back after a while." She grabbed his foot and knew just what to do. She pulled him back down by the strings of his shoe. Emmett was floating around the kitchen with his plate on his tummy. His gravity was gone, but his pancake was yummy. As strange as this was, it was really quite fun. His pancake was floating, and then around he spun. Spinning around and taking a bite, he thought maybe, just maybe, he might be all right. His mom grabbed his shoelaces once again and pulled him to the car to strap him in. With straps still around him, he still tried to float. His head rolled around like he was on a boat. They went to the park and Mom used a string and pulled him like a balloon to the swing. He had so much fun at the park up so high. He loved playing in the trees and up in the sky. That night above his bed, he fell fast asleep. He was so tired he didn't worry a peep. The next morning he woke and his gravity was here. Yay! He jumped out of bed and he started to cheer. But then he looked down and saw no feet. A peek in the mirror showed no one to greet. "Oh no, where did my matter go?" he proclaimed. But he knew it'd be back soon enough just the same. So he snuck downstairs just as quiet as a mouse, and he scared his mama. She jumped straight up in the house. "Boo," he said to her, but she couldn't see. "Oh, Emmett, no! Where could your matter be?" Emmett thought and he looked and he went all around, but his matter just wasn't anywhere to be found. He sat around and dreamed of all he could do, when knowing that no one would be able to see you. What would you do if that were you? That night he fell asleep just past 10, hoping the next day he'd be normal again. The next morning, just as he was opening his eyes, he slid right out of bed to his surprise. Then right away he knew what was wrong. "Oh no," he said, "my friction is gone." He slipped and he slid straight down the hall, bumping and sliding into every single wall. "Hey Mom, look at me," he said as he flew by. This was a day. He was one lucky guy. Now breakfast was tricky, as you can surmise. That pancake would not stay put despite his tries. It slid and it slipped and he had to move fast, but he was finally able to eat it at last. He had so many plans to have lots of fun. This day without friction would be a great one. He ran to the park and knew just what to do. He slipped up the ladder and down the slide he flew. He shot off like a cannon and flew in the sky. Lucky for him, Dad was nearby. He caught him mid-air and slid him back toward the slide, and Emmett had lots and lots of fun rides. He slid down some hills and around he would zoom. "Hello, friends," he'd yell as he'd pass with a boom. He knew that this day was by far the best. He slipped all over until it was time to rest. This time, going to bed would be hard, he thought as he tried to slide home through the yard. As much as he tried to stay in that bed, he just slid around and kept bonking his head. So he shut the door and just laid on the floor, hoping at morning there wouldn't be more. He slept so soundly knowing he wouldn't fall, and woke up the next morning with nothing missing at all. His physics principles were all there, and Emmett was glad. A normal day now could finally be had. The end.